No, hello.
Hello, my brother John.
Hello, how are you?
Good. I'm good.
Hank, I think we're in the
I'm.
middle of having our first actual disagreement in years.
I don't think that's definitely not true. We have disagreements all the time, especially about the amount that you exaggerate things.
Mm,
Uh,
I think we're
I'm
having our
just,
first
John.
serious political disagreement in years.
Well, I don't. I still can't. I still can't. You're gonna have to explain to me. I've been too busy with the resistance, John.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. I don't think. Okay, can we talk frankly? Since we're here with friends.
Yeah, sure.
What's going on? Are you okay?
Make a joke about the word frankly, but I gave up.
Okay. Yeah. So, were you thinking like, "Don't call me Shirley"? Right. So,
I was trying to go somewhere that direction. Yeah.
when I see you on Twitter, and I don't want to seem holier than thou, or like I'm coming at this from like the perspective of the wise older brother or anything like that, because I don't labor under the delusion that I'm as smart as you are, or anything like that. But like when I see you on Twitter, I feel like I am watching a man who is covered in gasoline run into a house that is on fire. I don't think that you are
It's
going
funny
to put out any fires. I think you are only going to light yourself on fire.
other things that other people are putting on Twitter, because I feel like me on Twitter is like so calm and collected and careful
Yeah.
compared to
So,
the others around.
but for perspective, you're the only non-sports account I follow. So I only see literally the only politicized tweets I ever see are from you.
Yeah, well, then that's definitely going to look like I'm running around with my head cut off, being like the world is on fire.
Yeah, and
Whereas I feel like I'm running in and I'm saying, okay, everybody, let's
calm
talk
down,
about what's
calm
happening.
down, calm, and then you're like, this is not normal. But calm down, stay calm. This is not normal. It's not normal,
Well,
but
I
it's
do want
also
people to know
not
that this
not
is not
normal.
normal.
It's also
But normal, and we should recognize that this is not normal.
So I think the politicization of everything is not normal, but I think it predates Trump. And I think the massive polarization is not normal, but I think that also predates Trump. I think Trump firing don't come on, man. I think Trump firing, we probably have Patreon patrons who support this freaking podcast and very generously and voted for Trump. And I don't think that you're making them less likely to support Trump with the Trump is a poo lower third. Anyway, that's my argument. That like political engagement should exist for the purpose of having your position challenged, or else trying to meaningfully and thoughtfully and carefully challenge someone else's position, not to reaffirm what you already believe and to establish that you're in the cool kid club with the other cool kids. And I worry that that's most of what's being done on the internet right now. I think that's not normal. I think that's actually less normal than firing the head of the FBI for political reasons, which has happened a couple times.
I don't know. Well, so I mean, we've had conversations where you have been like, Hank, convince me that this is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I listen, man. Trump has like complete control over my thoughts right now. Trump is running the show that is my consciousness in ways that are deeply distressing to me. But it's funny because when everyone else starts to think the conspiracy theory is true, that's when I'm always like, hold up, guys, that doesn't make any sense. And then when people go back to thinking the conspiracy theory is a conspiracy theory, I'm like, I know the secrets.
I just want to say that I wanted it to say Trump is a poo for a very short period of time before I changed it to something non-controversial. I've been trying to change it to say cats are great for like the last 5 minutes, and I can't. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Well, okay. Let's move on.
But yeah, I mean, look, this seems particularly worrying to me. I mean, it seems like there is a way to understand this situation that is sympathetic to Donald Trump, and that is that James Comey is out to do whatever he can to get people to say the words James Comey.
Yeah.
That's the real problem. That like James Comey is using his position as director of the FBI to get people to talk about him and think that he is important. And
that's what the normal Republicans were saying on all the news shows this morning. But they sounded, while they were saying it, they sounded like they didn't believe themselves. It was pretty hilarious, actually. Like listening to Lindsey Graham be like, "Oh, the head of the FBI serves at the pleasure of the president." Like, it's great.
It's totally normal and not worrying at all.
Yeah. But I think that, so I guess like my issue with your tweet storm yesterday, or not a tweet storm, because it was actually very carefully considered, which I very much appreciated, but because there was no soccer games going on, it was the vast majority of my personal Twitter feed. Anyway, my issue is that it's people on the right find it very easy to dismiss certain statements, like we don't know that there's a grand jury investigation of Mike Flynn. We think there is. There probably is. But a grand jury investigation is not the same thing as an indictment. An indictment is not the same thing as a conviction, and we don't actually know if there's a grand jury investigation. I just think when we talk about this stuff, if we aren't extremely careful, we lose the people we want to be talking to. Or am I wrong about that?
Well, I mean, there's always two things. You're always trying to be the first touch for someone who hasn't been paying attention at all. So this is like this is just activism, right? There's the part where you're trying to take somebody who hasn't been paying attention. They might suddenly be paying attention and say, "Hey, here's what the situation is," and that makes them feel similarly to you. And then there is activating the base by being like, "The world is on fire. Call your representative. For real this time. Call your representative. It's not a joke anymore. Call your representative." And then there's with people who already disagree with you, which almost feels like you're going to lose that no matter what.
So that's where I don't agree. I actually think that the most interesting thing that we can do as people who inhabit like a space of like a somewhat trusted space in online discourse, I feel like the most interesting and important thing that we can do is actually be that extremely careful, extremely thoughtful voice that is also consistently saying, no matter how careful and thoughtful and precise you are in looking at this kind of judgment is really troubling. And like these policies truly don't make sense. So like when there's something like the refugee ban, that like one of us can go on YouTube and make a video where we say, putting aside the partisan issue, this is bad policy. It's poorly written. It's unclear. It's led to a lot of confusion. It's not, some of it is pretty clearly unconstitutional. Here's the stuff that's really concerning. And people will like trust us. But I worry that if all we are doing is firing up the base, or all we're doing is trying to be that like point of first contact, that rather than trying to contextualize a news story in a really unbiased way, we're trying to frame the news story for them and say like, this is our frame is the best frame and look at it through our frame. I worry that we lose them. I worry that like we're going to lose all the people who aren't even sure if they agree with us yet.
Yeah, and I agree with, and I think that if you look at it in the way, finding your first touch on someone who's not paying attention and convince them, or you're firing at the base, and that third thing is just like, it doesn't work anymore, then you're like trouble, and also like that's much less interesting because it's harder to do that last thing, and it's harder to have a conversation about reality in a way that that connects with people are not will already agree with you. And when I posted on Facebook, I tried to do it slightly differently because I know that my Facebook audience is more diverse, where I ended here are the 3 most controversial points of what I just said. And
here are the
like
3
I
things people
accept that
disagree
they're
with.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, and also because I'd had the experience of having people disagree with me on Twitter and knowing what those things are was helpful, because I for one was like, I don't think that it's in question that Russia orchestrated the attacks against Hillary's campaign that were then leaked through WikiLeaks.
It's not.
People do.
Yeah, but those people, like, to me, like, those people aren't serious. Like,
John, they're like half of Congress.
No, it's not half of Congress. That's just not true. There are very, very few Congress people who will say that Russia did not hack the election. I mean, they'll say Russia didn't affect the outcome of the election, and they'll say Russia didn't do anything about votes. But there are essentially, as far as I can tell, there is no one in Congress who I've heard lately say that they don't believe that the Russians are behind the WikiLeaks dumping. Like, that's very broadly agreed.
Well, so that was, but that's definitely one of the things that's controversial about the thing I said. Like trying to. The other thing is, like, it's arguable and probably wrong of me to be like, this is illegal, like treason illegal. It's not really treason illegal. It's more like fraud illegal. More like,
yeah, and some of it might not even be fraud illegal. I mean, some of it, you could make a case that the Mike Flynn stuff is like Mike Flynn knowing that he's about to become national security advisor, laying out what the policy will be 6 weeks from now when he becomes national security advisor. And maybe, you know, like, that's not the same thing as, like, you know, negotiating on behalf of the United States when you're not, whatever. Like, it's not the same thing as, like, high treason. Similarly, you could make the argument that Jeff Sessions, potentially all he ever said to, you know, the Russians that he talked to was, like, literally, hello, how are you? Not like there was some, like, secret meeting and it was one of, like, 72 ambassadors he met during the transition and yada, yada, yada. So I think, like, I think there's so much we don't know that speculation, while it is my #1 hobby right now, is not, it's like, I'm trying really hard not to publicly speculate. Let's put it that way.
I mean, I think the concerning thing is not necessarily that, like I really am not in the camp that, like, Trump colluded with the Russians to get Hillary to lose the election. Like, it seems like that's a below 50% possibility to me. Probably below 10% possibility. But, like, what's concerning is that, like, when we have investigations, we just let them go, even when we don't like them. That's how we do it. Like, we investigated Benghazi for a decade, and we just did it. And, like, that's what they wanted to do, so they did it. So, like, we investigate.
No, I share your concern about in general. The thing that concerns me most about all of this is the politicization of everything, the inability to have even a basic conversation without it becoming political. I was thinking yesterday about, like, well, I was going to make a video about universal human holidays and how I wish we had some universal human holidays, and, like, the ones that are the closest that maybe we could expand into universal human holidays. One of the things I started to run up against is that there's almost nothing that's not politicized. Like, you can't have a universal Labor Day because people will be like, oh, you're, like, advocating for workers, you're a communist, you hate markets. But or you can't have a universal Memorial Day because, like, oh, I'm not going to pray for the people who, you know, perpetrated a genocide in wherever. And so, like, how can you have like, if we live in this shared world, we have this not one shared culture, but, like, there are aspects of global culture that are shared, and yet, like, we can't. It was not hard to get an independent prosecutor for Watergate. It was not hard to get an independent prosecutor for Whitewater, for the Clinton thing in the 1990s that led to the uncovering of the Lewinsky affair. It should not. It should be easy. It should just be a matter of setting up an independent prosecutor and letting them do their work and getting the heck out of the way. and that should have bipartisan support, and it is really disappointing that it doesn't.
Yeah, it's just it feels like a scary moment. But I think
yeah, I mean, it feels like a scary moment to me, but like it feels less scary to me than 2003 when we were invading Iraq for no reason.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think it's
also very easy to just jump into the thing that your confirmation bias wants to believe, which is like I have an opinion about President Trump, and like I have a very specific sort of like picture in my head that I have built of him, and the thing is that like he does like in my head he's an authoritarian, and so when he does things that might be considered authoritarian, I'm like, oh no.
Lorena made it, right. I mean, I don't think I don't buy into the argument that Trump is going to destroy democracy. Lorena makes an important argument that not everyone has the privilege of their own existence not being a political conversation already, which is true. But I also think that no one has their I mean, there are people who have their entire existence as political conversations because they're murdered by the state. There are relatively few people in the United States who are murdered by the state. There are not none, but there are relatively few. We are on the far end of the luck curve.
For the people who are wondering why America murders people.
Yeah, the state executes criminals, and then also the state occasionally, well, not that occasionally, kills unarmed Americans or armed Americans in the course of law enforcement.
Gotcha.
And then there are people who argue that the state. Well, that's not a good argument to make. I can't think of any other cases, but there may be some. I mean, certainly the state is the government of the United States is responsible for the death of a lot of people outside of America, including some Americans. But those are the two examples that I was thinking of.
Well, this is not usually how these live streams
How's it going, guys?
But I appreciate you going there, John.
Mm-hmm.
We just launched. I just put a Vlogbrothers video up about cats.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. We need more cats. Fewer not cats. Aaron needs me to do something, but I don't know what it is. There's just a lot of hashtag something for Aaron, but I don't know. It's hey John, can you write "Choose the Labyrinth" for me in all lowercase so I can get it tattooed? Maybe if it's not your first tattoo, I just don't want to be responsible for your first tattoo, Aaron. Because what if like 30 years from now you just hate me and I do something terrible? What if I get arrested for drunk driving and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I have a tattoo of that drunk driver on my body for the rest of my life? It just makes me feel extremely terrible.
So I think that this is more John's anxiety than Aaron's anxiety, but John's anxiety in this situation is legitimate because we're asking him to do a thing, and it's a little like I feel a little strange about my words or also like handwriting, like who am I that you want me on your skin forever?
Yeah, I just feel it's a lot of pressure. I'm not opposed to doing it, Aaron. I just want you to understand that what you're basically doing is, okay, everyone says that Aaron already has tattoos. I just think that basically what you're saying, it is my first tattoo. God damn it! I can't do it. I can't do your first tattoo. I can't. She did make the Tuataria server, which is very cool. Aaron, here's the thing, man. Okay, let's make a deal, Aaron. We're making a deal. You're going to do it next Esther Day. There's no reason you can't wait a year unless you have a life-limiting illness, which don't lie about. Don't lie about
that. That's not cool.
That wouldn't be cool. We're going to do it a year from now. A year from now. That's a good deal. Because then it's like a waiting period for a handgun, Aaron. Like You know,
And
it's not
to
an
be clear, this
emergency.
isn't about you, Aaron. It's about John.
Oh yeah, no, this is 0% about you. This is entirely about my own anxiety around doing stuff that can't be taken back, which I don't like doing, even to someone else. I love the idea. I love the 1 year waiting period. Next Esther Day is the time, Aaron. It's gonna be great. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. This is a great idea.
I'm gonna get a bunch of tattoos, John. I'm getting to that age.
Are you thinking about getting a tattoo for real?
It's gonna be made out of needles and ink.
Can you guys explain what's going on with John Oliver /FCC /net neutrality? Yeah, kind of. John Oliver wanted people to go to the FCC and advocate for net neutrality, and it seems like probably some people chose to do that via denial of service attacks, but the conspiracy theory read would be that there weren't really denial of service attacks. There was just a lot of traffic to that page, and that they took down the site despite a lack of denial of service attacks. I am suspicious of the conspiracy theory. I think net neutrality is important, incredibly important, and it is definitely under a real and existential threat in the United States.
When someone says real and existential, what do you mean?
I mean that there could be a future with no net neutrality very easily.
No. Just the phrase real and existential. What does that mean?
The threat is real, and the
It-
threat to net neutrality, like if net neutrality were rolled back, it would probably be rolled back permanently.
So it's a threat to its existence.
It is a threat to its existence forever.
I just have a hard time with the word existential. I've ever since the first time someone made me feel dumb in college, not understanding existential philosophy, I basically have a block on understanding what that.
That's my relationship with the word ontological.
Oh, that one too. You made me feel dumb for not knowing that one once.
There's no way I made you feel dumb for not knowing that, because I never use it.
Oh, what's the one you made me feel dumb for?
I don't know. It's not ontological. I think that it is not a word that we need.
The one about oh shoot, I don't know.
What's it mean?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, it couldn't have been that. It couldn't have been that traumatic if you don't even remember context.
Does anybody remember what I'm talking about?
When did it happen?
We'll see if the audience remembers, because I think it was on a live stream. It may have been on an episode of Eschatological. Damn, right there, Bo J. Knew it.
Wow, that's great job, Bo J. Wow, eschatological. Yeah, I mean, eschatological is a word that not everybody knows. It's a word. It's like you know a bunch of words that you only know because you studied biochemistry. I know a bunch of words that I only know because I studied religion. It's like it's a religious studies word.
Yeah, eschatological. I forgot what it means.
All right, Aaron has agreed to the 1 year waiting period. This is a great decision. This is a great moment in history. We're never gonna. I'm so excited. And Aaron, I will write it, but not for a year. Lots of people want to know what's in the box.
Great moment
I don't know.
Tattoo artist history. Like if there was an actual 1 year waiting period on tattoos, man, that would be bad for that industry.
I do not know what's in the boxes. I am thinking about painting them or something, because they do not make for a good background.
Are there going to be more added? Like, are more boxes coming?
I don't know. Well, the ones that you can see are not all of the boxes. So, yeah, there's more boxes. Maybe I'm moving. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
More every week until you can't see the background at all.
I mean, that would be great. That would be great, but I don't know.
Do that because it would compromise the structural integrity of the boxes?
Great question, but a leading question. I mean, the truth is, Hank, I genuinely don't know what's inside the boxes. Like, I know what's inside the ones that I've opened because I've opened them, but I literally cannot know what is inside of the ones that I haven't opened. So, I'm being honest when I say that I don't know. Hank, we have 5 minutes left in this weird live stream where we mostly talked about Russia.
Are there any questions from the audience?
Yeah. We have 5 minutes. Was the releasing the P4A perk timing intentional? No, believe me. I released it the day that I was ready to, and not a day before. Hank, have you released your
What is the
Project for Awesome Writing perk yet?
Did?
You did?
Yeah, I was done.
Oh, good.
I was done when we. Yeah. I tell you what, John, Project for Awesome perks, I like doing them, but I think that this year I'm going to try to do them all before the Project for Awesome.
Yeah, that would be a great decision.
I'm going to add anything. I've never said previous Project for Awesomes ever at all.
I feel like you've said that every year, actually. Hank, do you own your own recordings?
Meant.
You know, like, do you, like, is it like a Michael Jackson situation where you sold them to the Beatles, or do you own them yourself?
A band owned the recordings.
Hmm.
Things are owned by me. Some are owned by me and the band.
Hmm. Hmm. Good. Did you see your birthday videos?
I haven't watched the birthday videos. I saw that they existed, but then I had to do something, and then I didn't go watch them, and I feel very bad.
Avon, if you did not get the Project for Awesome Writing perk, then you should write. Is it Project for Awesome?
Well, no one got my thing. What was my thing?
Oh, okay. What your writing perk? You were supposed to release new recording of new writing.
Oh, maybe I didn't do that.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. No one has told me to do it.
Okay. Well, you need to tighten. You need to batten down the hatches in that Missoula office, Hank. You need to tighten things up.
I just got an email about the cookie perk that I said that I would do. I have not done that yet. If you got the cookie perk,
if you didn't get my my writing perk, it's at check your spam folders and then write info@projectforawesome.com and they'll let you know. Hank, we have to go soon.
Okay, we're gonna make a thing.
Oh, okay. Allison has gotten all the other perks, but not Hank's reading. So, Hank, I think you didn't do it. I'm pretty sure you didn't do it.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure that I can do it quickly.
Well, I like that. I hope that you guys liked my writing perk if you got it. And thank you to everybody who donated to this year's Project for Awesome. The perks maybe still be rolling in, but the money has been spent. So that's good. Hank, we're going to go make a pod. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited.
Ryan
fired up.
Possibly Russia.
I don't know. Should we do the Russia thing or should we just let it go? Maybe we should let it go.
What does the audience think? What do you guys think? Should we talk a little bit about the state of the world?
No.
Hank and John? I'm sure that people would ask us questions about that if they had time to.
Or maybe they weren't because they have enough about there's enough of it in their lives. I think there might be enough of it in their lives. Dan Erickson says to never let it go, though. Maybe we should just never let it go.
No more Russia. Yes. Loved the new writing. Do it. Russia. Talk about Russia. Talk about Russia.
They're going to say yes because they're polite. They're being nice.
But no, some people are saying no. I think a reprieve is nice.
Allison says, I used the pod to escape. And maybe that's a good point. Maybe that's a good point. We need some nice goofy things. All right, listen, we'll talk. Maria says, I'm from Russia. When we talk about the Russia thing, Maria, we don't actually mean Russia. We mean one particular regime's possible interference in our elections. We should be more specific about that too, Hank. We just need to be careful and considered and specific. Thank you for watching our live stream and for supporting the Patreon. Bye.
Bye.